you. So lovely to see you all. Who would have said that this was going to become our new life, right? Being on camera non-stop, and it's so great to have you here and to see what international audience we are. So I just want to briefly share about the project that is funding this program called ELYME project. It's a European funded project with 5 organizations, 2 from Italy, from Belgium, from France, from the UK. And the idea of the ELYME project is to help international people that are in the UK, like myself, coming from Mexico, and many of you, to look at ways of supporting you to set up a business. We do know that setting up a business and running a business is quite exciting, but you need to understand as well that we all need support. I have to say that after almost 19 years of running Inova, every time you have to learn, and every time you have to look at different options, look at COVID, Brexit. So it is, I think, the same entrepreneurial skills that you need. But I have to say that when you are international, you have an added value. And in that way, I would like just to just mirror what a lot of international people have told me. When you arrive to a new country, you have left everything you knew at home. You know, you have to establish new networks. You have to learn about what kind of business, the legal structure of businesses in the new host country, and then you have to run a business in a language that is not your own native language. So it's still a lot of challenges, but at the same time, I think a lot of opportunities. And one of very important opportunities is to really tap into our strengths when you're international and you move around, and that is resilience. So why the project came to place is because there's plenty of research that shows that high-skilled migrants, so people that have a good level of education, sometimes it's harder for us to go to a new country to match our same talent and our same skills and what we studied in the host country. And that's why entrepreneurship is being seen as a fantastic opportunity for international people in new countries to set up a business. However, for ELYME, we realized that for international people, I think we need much more support. And this project is mainly for international people that are not Europeans, although everybody's welcome, because I think it's even a double disadvantage to do that and to be supported. So the project, we're going to go through a couple of slides of what things we can offer. It's about developing, understanding how do you assess skills to find out how ready are you to set up a business, because we do know that entrepreneurship is not for everyone, and I think it's for everyone, but I think it's about the context. Sometimes it's not the right context to start a business, and sometimes it is the right context to start a business. So it's about getting to know you, and we have developed a lot of training programs as well that have looked at pre-startup, when people are thinking, is it for me? For people that already have a business plan, but they need more support. And for people that are already, like some of you, running businesses, but need a little bit of more support. I think, I'm sure you agree with me, Jessica, it doesn't matter for how many years you have been running a business, it's always lifelong learning. And when you're running a business, I think that is a must to keep on updating yourself. Look about COVID, how much we have to learn with new technology. So today, I'm delighted to present our first webinar with our co-host, with Jessica today, as part of ELYME. But also we have on the 15th of July, Daniela and Natalia. Daniela, you are there in the chat with us, so it's great that you can join us. Daniela and Natalia are from Colombia, and they will share with us their story about how they set up their products in the UK. Very, very exciting and lovely stories that they're gonna be able to share. Tomorrow as well, we have the third last session for ideas about how to build your business and to grow it. So if you're interested, Babette in the chat right now is pasting all these links so you can access it later and register if you are interested in attending the course tomorrow. Michelle right now is as well with us, and she is a fantastic presenter, and she will be delivering this tomorrow, and everybody's welcome. We also have what we call mentoring circles, and it's a very small group of, 5-7 people. And the idea about the circles is to come together and do things for your business. All those things that we tend to procrastinate because we're not sure, like, oh, I need to update my website, or I need to grow my networks, I need to update my Facebook. So within the group, you have plans and you report back to the group of all the things you're doing. So this is a great methodology for those of you who are like all of us, I think, we tend to procrastinate those things that give us anxiety. So here's the project website, elymproject.eu. And also, of course, we have all the social media to support us. The idea as well is to connect you with other entrepreneurs across Europe, because I do believe that networks are extremely important to grow in your business and to come up with new business ideas. I think I would say in a nutshell, the idea of ELYME and all the programs that we are involved in Inova is sometimes we think too much and reflect about it, but it's about the doing, is the action that we will undertake. And hopefully today, after Jessica's talk, you will have a lot of ideas of things that you can put into action into your business. So thank you very much for that. 12 o'clock, Jessica has to leave, but I will stay until 12:30 in Zoom with you in case you have any questions about how to join the program. If you want the group to support you with ideas or things that you are experiencing in your business, then we have that opportunity for networking for those of you that want to stay. Okay, so thank you very much. So I hand over to you, Jess. I think you're still muted, Jess.
Yeah, sorry. I've been through Marina's mentoring circles twice. I think the first time was probably about 15, 20 years ago, and then again recently, a few years ago. And they are absolutely superb. It's really, really great to be in those groups and be sharing those business experiences and planning with similar like-minded people. So if you don't attend the events, you do nothing else, get yourself on one of those mentoring circles because they're amazing. Right, let me just share my screen. Oh, are you still sharing? Stop now, stop. Sorry, I've got the wrong screen sharing. Technology. Okay. Right, so topic of today, time to thrive, not just survive. I've seen quite a few businesses talking about this thrive, survive, revive type process, and actually it's something that we have done for quite a long time, is this concept of thriving and not just surviving in your business. So it really is really appropriate to COVID as well at the moment, and how marketing's changing for a lot of our clients. So how's COVID changed businesses over the last 3 months? I'm sure you've all experienced utter turmoil in lots of different ways. Firstly, home working. We're all working from home now, but that means our clients are working from home too. So there is a lot of changes happening for all of us, and how business is operating is never going to be the same again. We are going through just complete changes to all businesses, no matter what industry you're in. Some of you will have furloughed staff, will have had to stop completely. One of the things I've learned over the time that this has happened, and really a lot at the beginning, was those people whose businesses were told, you're not essential, you must close. The ones that are really, really going to thrive are the ones who've made themselves essential when they were not essential before. So the pubs and bars and things like that are now doing deliveries from home, and we've seen lots of use of the internet to do that, and lots of innovative ways of doing that. So if you are classed by the business as non-essential, by the government as non-essential, you can make yourself essential. So actually think of new ways of doing things, and we've seen some really, really good examples of that. There's a lot more emphasis on communication. we're using Zoom today. Marina touched on that earlier. How have our lives changed in business so much using Zoom, and all sorts of other tools. And we're going to talk about some cloud tools as well for helping you communicate better. There's also the fact that business to business is now happening completely over Zoom, more or less. 90% of business to business sales are completed virtually. I personally would have, in the last 3 months while we've been locked down, I would have probably done, I don't know, maybe 100 visits to clients and things over that time. You know, one a day, couple of, some days I'd be 2 or 3 different places, and it's now all happening on Zoom, and that's absolutely brilliant and makes everything a lot more effective, doesn't it? But it means we've all got to be a bit more savvy about how we reach people online. People are using, sorry, I need to mute myself on the screen. So yeah, people are using a lot more local stuff. So we're shopping locally. We're doing a lot more local business stuff that we didn't do before. Am I echoing for everybody? Is that better? Or was I just echoing for myself? Yeah, so you're shopping more through local shops and things like that, but it's not just that local loyalty, people wanting to go to their local businesses. We're also searching out on the internet for businesses to do business with locally. We had a lot less trust in small business websites before. We had this sort of, like, if they've not got PayPal, or if they've not got the sort of shop front that we're used to on their website, we'd think, oh, they're a small business, not sure if I trust putting my credit card details in there. But actually, we've seen a lot more people trusting their local businesses because they're interacting with them on Facebook, and they're seeing what people are doing that's different to what they were, you know, how they were doing business before. So we're, so for example, there's a local company near where I live who produce food for restaurants and cafes and things like that, so catering food, and their business just completely stopped at the beginning of all of this. But they very, very quickly switched to doing food hampers and stuff that they could sell online to the local community, and reached out via Facebook, reached out via local shops, and suddenly created a whole new customer base for themselves. So embrace that trust that you've got from your local community at the moment. Get out there and tell people what you're doing and engage. One thing that's been really interesting is how direct to consumer brands are able to adapt. So I don't know if anyone's got any experience of this, but if you've not got the complicated supply chain that big companies have got, so we saw some of the supermarkets really struggle at the beginning, didn't we? If you've not got that complicated supply chain, you can change very, very quickly. So so one of the things that you can do is you can leverage your business, and I'm not keen on this word pivot, but you can change very, very quickly. And if you direct to consumer, that's a lot easier because you've not got that supply chain there. So for example, there's a company called Bloom and Wild who do flowers through the post, and they bought a lot of their flowers from Holland because that's naturally where people get a lot of their flower supplies from. When all the airports were shutting down and they were struggling with their supply chain, they very, very quickly switched to UK only. So they are only dealing with UK suppliers, and they could change their supply chain very, very quickly and get to their customers. So that's one really big benefit of being a direct to consumer brand. You're already talking to your customers, so you were already able to pivot your business. This is a very interesting one. We've moved events like this to digital, but we're now seeing the bigger events move to digital. Is anyone in manufacturing? sort of if you're engineering, manufacturing, and you might be part of the MADE group, which is, you can be made in Yorkshire, made in the Midlands, that sort of thing. And they have a national conference once a year, which normally happens in London, has thousands of attendees. And so, you know, lots of manufacturing businesses from all over the UK attend or exhibit at this event. So they were going to lose a lot of revenue, a lot of activity, a lot of memberships through not having that event happen this year. So what they've done is they've changed it to a virtual event, and you can have a look at the website, it's backingbritain.com, and you'll see it is going to be a virtual event. You'll be able to walk around and see in virtual reality each of these stands. So if you look at the stand here, this is the template for the stand that we've been working on for one of our clients. And you'll see you've got a pull-up banner there like you would have on a normal stand. That's going to be clickable, so you can click on it, zoom in and read it. The video on the wall at the back of the stand will have a still image on it, and then you'll be able to click on it, view the video. And the person who stood at the stand, when you click on that person, you'll see an actual image of someone who works at the business, and it will play a little short intro video, and then there'll be a live chat function. So it's like you've walked up to the stand, they've introduced their business, and then you can chat to them. And this is all happening virtually. So it's not just Zoom, there's going to be a lot more happening with these sorts of big events. And this is going to be one of the biggest virtual events that the UK's ever had. So, so it's actually quite exciting that so much has changed in the business scene. We've then got, let's just move on to the next stage. We've had all these changes in the business scene. We've then got also the changes that are happening in the marketing landscape. So it's really, really turned everything on its head. When we as an agency have lots of retainer clients. And so in those first couple of weeks of COVID, we had lots of people just wanting to pause their work with us, or have no idea what's happening with their SEO because the keywords were all over the place. Everyone's searching for COVID, no one's searching for my business and what I do. And what we saw is that the businesses that were really, really going to survive through this are the ones that put digital first. So the minute that all of this happened and they realised everyone's locked in their houses, the only way we can contact them is the internet, they switched to digital first. They made it easy to do business with them. They put their products online and that sort of thing. But what we've really got to do in these times is demonstrate our brand values. If you say you're a caring business, you're a sympathetic business, you care about your clients, you care about your community, now's the time to step up to the plate and do it, isn't it? And the businesses that aren't doing it are the ones that are getting the flack and are going to lose customers in the long run. So if you're not looking after your clients at the moment, they're not going to be your clients after COVID. There was an example when there was the banking crash in 2008, and someone was telling me a few weeks ago that they'd had sort of two suppliers where one of them had just let everybody put everything on pause. They could pay later. You know, they understood that some clients were struggling. They put payment plans in place, that sort of thing. And there was another supplier who did a very, very similar thing, and they just made everybody pay. They insisted you must pay or your account will be stopped, and they'd sent debt collectors in to chase, and they weren't flexible at all. And once the economy started to pick up, what happened is that supplier who weren't helpful just lost all of their clients. As soon as they were able to start moving again, they got a bit more revenue. They just moved to the other supplier who had been helpful with their clients during that time. And that is exactly what's going to happen now. So you really, really need to show your brand values and sort of show that you're a caring business and you're not just out there for the profit. There are even some lists out there on the internet already of the sort of name and shame lists of people who've been really money grabbing during COVID, tried to profiteer from it, and also lists of the good guys who've done great things. So, and I'm sure as I'm talking, some of you have already got some of those companies in your head, the ones that have been good to you and the ones that haven't. But you need to think about that with your clients too. Web in general, just people browsing the web has gone up 70%, which is massive, isn't it? It's not, you know, the amount of, I mean, we've got people who are normally at work anyway, online from home, but they would be on the internet anyway. So all these extra ones are the ones who would not normally have the time to be on the internet searching for your brand in the middle of the day, and they are now. So you've got more audience there. And the great news is paid ads are cheap at the moment. And it's strange this, but how it's worked is the ad companies like Google rely on the smaller businesses like us paying through the nose for these ads, where we don't get a great return on them, but what we do is we push the price up so that the big brands throw loads of money at it to get up at the top. And what happened was those small businesses all stopped spending money on Google pay-per-click ads and things like that. And the big brands started reducing their budgets. So competition was much easier. So what it means is that actually there's a lot of opportunities out there in the paid ads scene, because the average cost per click has gone down because the ad companies haven't got the demand at the moment. So now is the time, if you want to put a bit of money into Google ads, now is the time to do it, because the return on investment for paid ads on the internet has improved massively over the last 2 or 3 months. Now this is starting to creep back up again, but we're seeing this massive opportunity at the moment, and particularly if you target a really, really unique keyword or phrase that's in your niche for your business, there are some real opportunities there to reach out to people. So more people on the web searching for stuff, and adverts are cheaper. So that's the first sort of big tip of the day, isn't it? And similarly, social media engagement is up 61% at the moment. So you need to be engaging with your audience, and that means organically, but also you can use paid ads on the social channels too and reach even more people. You can also link in things like your Facebook page with your website. So if you haven't got the Facebook pixel installed on your website yet, that's my first big tip for the social media engagement side, because once you can do that, you start collecting information about the sort of people who are visiting your website. You can target those people through Facebook. You can set up audiences based on the type of people that are visiting your website, and you can then, from that, because you've got the data, you can then create lookalike audiences that targets people with similar interests. So get yourself the Facebook pixel installed, or talk to your web developer if it's not something you can do yourself. If you've got WordPress, there's a really, really easy plugin that you can install on WordPress to do that. So the 3 phases of COVID, we've sort of titled the workshop as this. So what we're seeing is it's a typical pattern for everybody. We all started off right at the beginning of COVID in this survive phase. We were thrown into turmoil. What are we going to do? We're reaching out for help. The government's throwing furlough money at us, and grants, and business loans, and it's all a bit of a mess. Some businesses are still in that point. They've not done anything. They just closed their doors. They've not tried to pivot and do different things with the business. They've not tried to make the non-essential essential, and they're still in survive mode. So what we need to do first is move into revive mode. We need to have something to offer if it's not something that we can deliver at the moment. And a lot of these businesses are able to do a bit more after the 4th of July. But if you really can't, then change to something else. If the bottom's fallen out of your market because demand isn't there for what you do, change what you do, find the demand elsewhere. Someone will want what you do somewhere. I mean, okay, COVID's really messed us all up, but the same amount of money is there in the world. It's just been spent in different areas, and there are still businesses out there with budgets and money to spend. There are still clients and customers out there with money to spend. It's just finding the people who want what you do, need what you sell, and have the funds to do it. And if you really think your market doesn't have the funds to purchase your services, look at things like payment plans, pay later solutions, so that you are protecting your business going forward in the future. What can you do now to sort of make yourself more robust? And I'm sure you've been on lots of these sorts of seminars so far where the people are telling you cash is king at the moment, and making sure that you've got that revenue coming in. So it's doing everything you can. And we want to get to thrive mode. We want to get to the place where we're actually lots of clients, lots of interest, lots of things sold, products and services, and we're winning again. And a lot of business coaches will tell you that those businesses who really spend on the marketing, and particularly in these sorts of times, businesses who start in a recession, in an economic downturn, are usually the ones that do survive and thrive, because they are really focusing on what can I do to keep my business alive, to make my business grow at this moment. There are a lot of businesses, probably across all of your industries, that will not survive this and will be closing down. They've all got clients and customers, so it's an opportunity for you. It's not a nice situation to be in, to be taking clients from someone who's failed, but these are the times that we're in. So you need to be monitoring all of the social channels of your competitors and what they're doing to make sure you're doing more, you're doing differently, and you're standing out against them. There's also a lot of people who are not servicing their clients at the moment, and a lot of disgruntled clients in a number of areas. So there are opportunities there as well. Okay, so I can't actually see the chat at the moment. So let me just see if I can get to the chat bit. I just want to check if we've got any questions. So has anybody got any questions on what we've done so far? Do you want to stick them in the chat, or unmute yourself and talk if you want? We can have a little chat amongst ourselves. Are there any questions? Are we all happy at the moment? Give us a nod, thumbs up. So Marine is asking, can I explain again about the Facebook pixel? So how the Facebook pixel works is you have a little bit of code that you put into your website, and that then collects data, a bit like a cookie, about everybody who visits your website. If they are on Facebook, it will pick up that they've got a Facebook account, because they'll be logged into Facebook on their computer normally, or it will be linked somehow by email address, so the data can be matched up, sometimes even IP address. But your website can then start feeding data into Facebook about who is visiting your site, so that Facebook is aware of that data set of people. So it's anonymous to you. You won't see the names of the people who visited unless they're people who already like your page. But when you then create a Facebook ad, you can create an ad that targets people who've already visited your website. So you've probably all noticed that you visit something on Facebook, you look at a product on a website, or you visit a company website, and then all of a sudden when you go on Facebook, you see an advert for it. It's not a coincidence. It's the Facebook pixel working for that business. So as well, once you've got to that stage and you start collecting data, and you can create those ads to target people who visited your site, Facebook is learning about the type of people visiting, what sort of interest they have, what other pages they like, what topics they talk about. And then you can start creating audiences that are called look-alike audiences, who are people who are far outside of your reach, have never heard of your business before, but are of a similar type of person to the people who've already visited. So you can then build your Facebook audience in the right way, reaching the right people. Does that explain it enough, Marina? Okay, so moving on, I'll just quite difficult when you're on one screen to see everything. What we need to do is evolve with our customers. So I mentioned earlier, there are businesses who are not doing great through this. Some doing their best, but really, really struggling with demand. Some who are have just lost the motivation for it and have let their quality drop. So there are opportunities to grab customers from your competitors, but what you need to really do is evolve with your customers at the moment. So the biggest piece of advice out there is ask them. What I did for the first 3 or 4 weeks of lockdown was spent a lot of time on the phone, phoning round our clients, asking what's happened, how's your business been affected, what's changing, how can we help you? If you've got a bigger customer base, so your business to consumer, or there's just a lot more out there, you can't phone them all. We have about 100 clients on varying different contracts, but you might have a lot more than that. Do some surveys, put some stuff out on your social, put a poll out on your website and invite people to go in and fill it in, but ask them. And then you need to change what you do, what you deliver to meet their needs. So we've seen a lot of sort of little craft businesses on Etsy now selling face masks. I bought some myself the other day. That sort of thing. What do you need instead? One of the things I think that particularly small businesses, and I don't really know how big all of your businesses are, but I'm assuming that most of us in this room are small to medium or even micro businesses. Clients have a number of touch points, so you need to reach out to them across lots of platforms. Before they're willing to buy from you, they will tend to need to have seen your brand or been reminded about who you are in more than one place. So for example, you might see an advert on TV and then Google it to check the company out. You might see a company mentioned in a post on Twitter and you click through to look at their website and then you forget about them. And then a couple of weeks later, you see something else pop up about them on LinkedIn or Facebook. But you'll have lots of different touch points with a brand before you decide to buy from them. So one of the things when I'm talking about ads in particular on Google Ads is if you spend a lot of money on paid advertising and no one knows who you are, they're not going to trust you just because they've seen an ad. In fact, they're probably going to trust you less because they've seen nothing organically and they've only seen advertising. So where paid advertising works really well is with an already slightly warm audience who have been made aware of your brand through other means. So they've seen you on social, they've been recommended, they've seen someone else talking about you in another platform. So if you, for example, with search engine optimization, I always say if you're already on the first couple of pages as a result, your advert will work a lot better. Because what do we do when we Google something? We ignore those first few ads at the beginning of the page and we scroll to see the organic things. But when we're looking for a similar topic again and something that we've seen in the organic results, however subconsciously, is an ad at the top, we recognize the brand name, we go, oh, that's what I'm looking for, and then we might click the ad. I don't know if everyone agrees with me with that, but that's how I think a lot of browsing works with sort of trusting brands before you click on their advert. we need to prepare for the times ahead. It's no good just changing your marketing strategy now to suit exactly what's happening now and not being ready for what's going to come. So we're hearing all this stuff about a second wave, there could be more lockdowns, but then we're also hearing positive stuff about coming out of lockdown. So what should we trust? Where do we go with it? And what I would say is be ready. Have your campaign ready for if we go into a second lockdown, but also have your campaign ready for if everything's great and we're all coming out of it. And also be prepared for another term that I'm fed up of hearing at the moment, but I'm going to say it, the new normal. I did have a slide which I've taken out because it was entitled, and some of you will realise why I've taken it out when I say the title. It was entitled "Bouncing Forward, Not Just Bouncing Back," and then Boris Johnson spoiled it for me last night by using my phrase. I thought of it first, but it's about what are you going to do actually in the future and preparing for the times ahead as well. Yeah, we've just someone in the chat. So it's Madam Zucchini. Have you got any vegetables there today, Natalie? I've been pivoting my business to offer online vegetable art and craft. There we go. We've got a potato there. If everyone looks at the gallery view, you'll see Madam Zucchini with her vegetables. So just a bit of background. So you're a performer. You can unmute yourself if you want. Doing entertainment, and obviously I'm seeing a lot of this now with live acts and live performances. It's going online. So is that working for you? Are you getting business?
That's a big question. I wouldn't say it's been easy, but after the initial panic, I kind of thought I didn't see I had much choice really. Well, it's either kind of sit back and hope, isn't it, or kind of grasp your destiny really, and I'm probably more of a grasp your destiny sort of a person. So I've put some of my shows online. The main challenge for me was how I was going to communicate with an audience through a screen. But I found that people can, get a lot out of it and it can work. And I've also been running veg craft clubs on a Saturday morning. Last week we made carrot flutes. And that interestingly, I had a lot of adults coming along. So for me, it's all about trying to work out what my old client group would have been mostly event producers, and now it might be more individuals. And every day actually that's why I've got the sweet potato, because I need to make a shark out of it, because every day I put a vegetable creature in my window, so that's a bit of so the passers-by can engage with that.
We've got another question in the chat from Julie, asking how do you make money? I'm presuming you have gone direct to consumer, haven't you?
Me?
Yeah. I think Julie's asking the question, how do you make money now that you're doing things online?
Do you? That's a very good question.
I'd made a point in the last slide about going direct to consumer instead of through a supply chain, and I think that's sort of alluding to exactly what you've done, is you're selling directly to your client base.
Yeah, and I haven't replicated my income at all, which is often a worry, but I'm kind of trying to think if I can make a bit of money. What I'm doing, I got a virtual booking for a festival in July because people heard about what I'm doing. So to me, the only way is to create stuff and put it out there and hope that people come. And if things don't work, I mean, I wouldn't say the Veg Craft Club was a big earner in any way, but it is making me learn about how to use Zoom and online interface and how to do stuff with people to see if that can be an alternative income stream.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's easy though. It's not easy.
That takes me nicely onto my next point, so thank you for that. Produce content. If things have gone quiet for you and you've got lots of time on your hands, this is something you need to be spending your time doing. There are a lot more people online, people are furloughed, they're searching for stimulus, they want things to do. So the Vegcraft clubs are a example of that, perfect example of that. But also just writing blog articles. I've seen lots of people doing podcasts and video and things like that, and it really works to reach out. But also, it doesn't have to be stuff that you're going to use now. You might be in a quiet time now, but that could soon change to be really, really busy. So use this time to get some blog articles written, get some content ready, get some videos produced, so that when things do really take off, you've got those resources there to use, and you don't have to spend your time later doing it. But get lots of stuff out there, because what is really happening now is the businesses who are motivated and pushing forward are producing lots of content, and that means lots of noise. And yes, you've got to shout louder than everyone else to be heard above the noise, but really you've got to be putting stuff out there that the audience wants, that people really want to consume. So we saw some great examples of that in the beginning with things like Joe Wicks with his PE things, and some of the gyms and things putting on fitness events, and now we've got celebrities teaching kids, haven't we, on the BBC. So produce content, get stuff out there. Understand the audience intent, and I use this word intent a lot when I'm talking to my clients, but we target search terms and we target customers online based on what we think, who we think they are, what we think they want, what we think they're searching for. And actually we don't actually go back and think about why have they searched for that term, what is it they're really looking for when they search for that phrase or question in Google. So what we need to be aware of at the moment is our audience's intent has changed. So we need to really, really put ourselves, and we hear this phrase a lot, of sort of stand in your own cues, but put yourselves in the position of your clients. What is it like for them now? This is back to the first point about evolving with your customers and find out what's changed. They're searching for different things now, and they've got different reasons for looking, and they've probably got different reasons for buying from you at the moment. So really think about what is it that they're looking for, and how can I be the brand that's at the end of that search, offering exactly what those clients are looking for. Go really, really unique. Play on your USP and your niche, because there are people out there looking for you and what you do and what you sell. They're just harder to find above all the noise at the moment. Obviously, everybody's in a very different situation. You need to be sensitive. We've seen some brands do this very badly over COVID, haven't we? But be sensitive to everybody's different situations at the moment, and think about what you post before you put it out. But the main thing is that you've got to be very, very flexible, and you've got to be human. So I put a little stat in there. 57% of consumers say they would be loyal to a brand who successfully demonstrates their humanity. This was from a survey done last year in 2019. So I think we can safely say that that number's probably gone up a little bit. But what we want at the moment is human connections, because that's what everybody's starved of. So we're looking for brands who show that they're human, that they're thinking about us as their customers, and they care, and they're doing what they can to help us, not just to get our money out of us. So be sensitive, be flexible, change, and be willing to change quickly. So you may have a marketing strategy at the moment that's based on what you think is going to happen over the next 3 to 4 weeks. And in 3 to 4 weeks, that could completely change. I don't know if we've got anybody in the group from Leicester, but if we have, unmute yourself and say hi. They're completely locked down. Imagine if you were one of those businesses and you thought you were opening, and then all of a sudden, nope, second lockdown. That could happen to any of us at any time. I don't know if we've got anybody in here from Doncaster, but apparently, according to the rumours, you might be next for the second lockdown. So you need to be flexible, and that means having a plan across all of those things. The survive, revive, and thrive. And be ready to do any of those things depending on how stuff's going to change. Yeah, how might your business be affected by what could or could not happen next? And I know it's very difficult to do that, but that is where we're at the moment. We've got to be flexible, we've got to be sensitive, and most importantly, just be there when they need you. Put that hand out and say to your clients, okay, you might have had to pare back what you do, offer a reduced list of products, offer a reduced list of services, deliver things in a different way, but actually be as flexible as you can, and be honest with people. I've seen a lot of businesses putting out there saying, look, we're doing what we can, we're only delivering a small amount of what we normally do, but please bear with us. And people are being understanding, but also the other way around. What can we do? What do you need us to do? We have reduced what we're offering at the moment, but if there's something you really, really need from us that we're not offering, please tell us. So ask your customers that. What do you need from us? And just be willing. I've seen a lot of live chat turned off and emails from do not reply email addresses, which drive me bonkers. Be available. If you are not active on meetings and things like that, be on your live chats, be on be responding to clients, get on your Facebook page and be commenting on things, get involved and engaged in every platform you can with your clients. Although, word of warning, I should have probably said this at the beginning because I've been trying to sort of put it out in all of my sessions. Just a quick show of hands for those who are on the camera, or put your thumbs up if you've not got your camera on. Who's using TikTok to market their brand? Stop, uninstall it from your computer and your phone, and don't use it anymore. I'm a digital marketing agency, and I'm saying that we've just uninstalled it from all of our machines yesterday. There are 2 companies who've just released some research on it, and a very interesting post on Reddit, which I'll share it with anybody privately if they want, of a guy who's reverse engineered the code for TikTok. It's not it's thinly veiled as a social media platform, but it's basically malware and spyware, and it's very, very dangerous. So my advice as a digital marketing agency is do not use it. Stop using it straight away. It's collecting a lot of data about you. And it's dangerous. So there you go, TikTok. But all the other platforms, yes. There was a really, really good statement about it the other day in the nerdy community, where they said they looked at reverse engineering things like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, LinkedIn. And yes, those apps do collect a lot of data about you too. We've had conversations on these sessions before about your phone listening to you, and then your Facebook ads mimicking what you've been talking about. But if you look at the data that they collect compared to the data that TikTok collects, it's like comparing a glass of water to the ocean. That's how much data TikTok is collecting. So just stop it if you're doing it. They'll probably sue me for that, but hey. So I think we had scheduled in a slight break for 11 o'clock. Was that right, Marina? Yeah, so we're going to let you just have 5 minutes to go and grab a cup of tea, have a comfort break, and come back for the final hour.
There are a couple of questions before we have a break in the chat for you about your last slide, I think, from Tolga, and then Neil as well.
Yeah. So there's an actual article. There's a couple of bits of research about TikTok, which are white papers from research organisations, and there is a link to a Reddit post, which is very, very nerdy. But yes, I'll find it out. In fact, some of the links to the research are in the Reddit post, so I'll find that out and I'll post the Reddit post link. And then we've got one for Tolga. I'm just reading, what would be the best marketing strategy that gather several niches under the same umbrella? Service businesses need to this niche business owners to be aware of the site and register, then present their service to the customers. Is Tolga, are you able to unmute yourself? Is she...
Yes.
Yeah, Tolga, hi. So do you have lots of brands, Tolga?
Sorry?
Do you have lots of brands? Can you just explain what this business is that you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, it's actually on the phase of the development process right now, and I'm just creating the details of that kind of thing. I was just wondering about what should be the best strategy to establish a kind of a business and to market to do several niche owners, like you can think of like some teachers and some like other instructors. Is some another version of a Udemy or something like that? It's just another type of service. The first thing I have to do is just to get these niche business owners to the platform first before inviting
so
users.
So you're reaching out business to business,
No,
and obviously
it's B2C. Yet first I have to establish a supplier base from the business owners or instructors.
Okay.
You can say.
Yeah. So you've got two sort of target markets, haven't you? You've got a business to business market, you've got business to consumer market, because you've got to target both of those areas. So obviously I'm not going to give you a full marketing strategy for your business without knowing anything about it, but what I would say is the first step when you're completely new and starting up is we call it within our agency, we call this tactic lurk and learn. So lurk around and learn what's going on in your target markets area. So what platforms are they using? Which of your competitors are they following? Are they interacting with those competitors, and how? So you're learning how your target market like to engage online, and then you can then position yourself on the right channels. So if you understand where your competitors are targeting, what activities they're doing, there are lots of great tools online that you can use to spy on them, to see what keywords they're targeting and things like that, and then just make little steps into each of those channels to start trying to build those audiences. But it takes time to build that up. But I'd say start with the lurk and learn, and learn about your audience and where they are and how they like to interact, and then just be there. Yes, it has been banned in India, I think, very recently, and in the last week or so. And there's some stuff in that Reddit article about the hosting and the control over the data that the Chinese government has. But I think maybe data privacy is a topic for another time, because there's a lot of stuff we could cover in there, isn't there? We've been looking at sort of how GDPR is going to be affected by Brexit as well. I'm sure a lot of people are thinking about that at the moment. And also GDPR concerns around Brexit. So particularly small businesses, you've got sort of local pubs talking about collecting people's names and addresses when they come in and stuff like that, and the track and trace things. So it's all quite scary stuff, the data at the moment. If anyone wants help with their data, talk to me separately. We have a really, really good data privacy practitioner who can help with all of that sort of stuff. Okay, so I think we've got most people back now. We'll get started again. I'm usually quite strict on we come back at 10 past, so I've given you 3 extra minutes. Okay, so we've talked about sort of rethinking your digital marketing strategy across the board. I just want to give you some bullet points to take away, hopefully action on this area. And the first one, and this is quite a biggie, is the customer profiles. So obviously this is a stock photo of a very stereotypical woman shopping. But you will have an idea of who your customers are and why they buy from you. Just a quick stick your hand up or give me a thumbs up if you know who your customer is. Who is your target customer, your ideal customer profile? Anybody? I think that's one. Just well done, Armand. That's just you. This is vitally important, and this is where you should start before you even think about your digital marketing strategy, because if you don't know who that strategy is targeting, then it could be a complete waste of time. I see a lot of businesses who are like really proud, they've got lots and lots of followers on Facebook and Twitter and things. And my first question is, how many of those followers actually buy from you? How many of them are real customers? There's a term you hear a lot in business about profit is sanity and turnover is vanity. Yeah, and it's the same with likes and followers on social media. It is vanity to just have lots and lots of people liking you and following you. If they're not buying from you, then that's just insanity. What you need is your real target customers and be reaching out to them. So what is a target customer profile? It's basically your ideal customer. So you create a document, and there are 3 things here. So if you've got a pen and paper, write this down. There are 3 things that need to go into that document: psychographic, demographic, and geographic. So your psychographic is things like their pain points, their interests, their buying patterns. Yeah. Their social media preferences. What platforms do they like to be on? Who are they as a person? What type of person are they? So psychology, really get into their mindset. The demographic is the simple things that we all start with when we do a customer persona. Age range, where do they live in the country, what's their disposable income, what type of job do they do, how many kids do they have. All of that is your demographic. And then you've got your geographic stuff. So again, location, it might be language, it might be their travel patterns. For example, if you are a location, you might be doing near field marketing to try and grab people as they walk past you. We're doing a lot of things with augmented reality now. If you've got an iPhone that's an 8 or above, you're about to get an update to your operating system when we go on to iOS 14 that gives you your apps a lot more abilities in augmented reality. So geography is going to become really, really important. So where do we start? We've got these 3 areas we need to do some research into, but there's a difference between a customer profile and a buying persona. So you're targeting people when they're in buying mode, but also just people who may buy your product in the future. They're your profile customer, but they're not necessarily a buying persona at the moment. And there needs to be some factual stuff there. It's not just a sort of a fictional character that you've created in your head. These have got to be, real people who are out there, and you've got to do your research about that. So firstly, focus on the problem that your business is trying to solve for them, because you can then start to build up a picture of the sort of people who are going to have that problem that you're trying to resolve. Think about, we talked earlier about the touch points. People have multiple touch points with your business. They might see your website, interact with you on social channels, receive your email, be recommended by a friend, etc. That's your customer journey, and generally customers go through a particular journey before they buy from you. So have a look at previous customers and where have their touch points been before they've got to buying. Dig into the demographics, collect customer feedback, because learning from your customer base at the moment is going to help you to understand who else you might be able to reach out to. Look at those contextual details. So you define those external factors. You're describing your customer profile. Now it's critical to dig deeper into those contextual details. So if you were starting a software company and you were going to target businesses, you're going to think about how big is their team that they've got at the moment? What are the challenges they're facing? What technology are they using at the moment? What are their goals for the next 3 months? How are they assessing the problems that they've got? Yeah. If you're selling to consumers, so you've got an Etsy shop and you are selling handmade shopping bags, for example, the customers that you were selling to before might not be shopping quite so much. So how are you going to get them to purchase a new shopping bag? Have they got a different need now? Are they purchasing different things? Do they need something smaller because they're not going out and doing a big shop in the same way? Or do they need a trolley because they're going out and doing one big shop once a month? Just get into their head and think, what do they need? Perhaps they don't need a shopping bag at all, but you're making these on a sewing machine and you can now switch to doing face masks. But you're understanding what's the perfect world for this client. What do they want to see? What if they go onto Etsy to look at sort of browse for products because they're bored, because they're furloughed, and they're not really looking for a shopping bag? What would delight them if they saw it? What would be the product that they would think, yeah, that's what I need right now? Yeah. So getting inside their head. Think about where you compare to your competitors and look at who they're targeting. Who are their customers? So I mentioned earlier about this lurk and learn thing. Look at your competitors' Facebook pages and Instagram pages and LinkedIn pages and see who is following them, and maybe actually try and interact with some of their clients on there and take those profiles from your competitors' clients and create them into your own customer personas. So really, really start to think about what is your ideal customer profile. The next bit then is ask. And this is, I reiterate this again and again and again. When you sell something, ask for a referral, ask for feedback. If you're not selling to customers at the moment, but they've bought from you in the past, ask them why they're not buying at the moment. Ask them what they want. Yeah. Remind them what else you do that they might not know about. So that's been a really key takeaway for us during this time, is this sort of phoning round all our customers made me realise that actually we've got a lot of clients who buy one thing from us, but we do lots of stuff. So it might be, okay, we look after your website, we do the maintenance and hosting of your website and your emails and your domain and things. But did you know we also create Zoom backgrounds like this one? Did you know that we can create you some digital assets for your social media so that you can put some creative graphics out there or animations? Did you know that we can create corporate videos for you to promote yourself online? And a lot of these clients probably did know because they get our newsletters and things like that, but they're shut off to that because that's not what they were looking for at the time. And now they've got different needs. So just to phone them up and ask them, what is it you really need help with at the moment? And be able to say, well, actually, did you realise we have this service that can help? So just ask them. Look at the trends. Look at what's actually happening at the moment. How many people go on Twitter in the morning and look at what's trending? No. first thing I do when I put my phone on in the morning. What's trending on Twitter? It's amazing what you find out before it comes on the news, actually. But not just trends on social media, but also trends in general across the landscape. You can get a feel for what your key customers are into at the moment, what are the buzzwords and that sort of thing. There is a little tool which I can put a link in the chat for. And actually, I'll tell you what, we'll do a little demo because I can probably do that here. Just bear with me. So the link, and you can all follow this at the same time if you want and do your own little searches. Just get the link. There you go. I don't know if anyone's used this before. Give us a nod or a wave if you have. Right, and I'm going to do a new share of a different window. And you should now be able to see Google Trends on my screen. I think I need to just change my share. Okay. So while I'm on this shared screen, I can't see your faces, so you'll have to talk to me in the chat if you want to ask anything. So Google Trends, straight away we can see what is trending at the moment. Kim Kardashian is usually there, but we can also see coronavirus search trends, and we can see what people are searching for at the moment, and what's been recently trending. And you can just put a search term in there. So just for a bit of fun, because this is what I used to do when I used to demonstrate this to my students when I was teaching at the university, is just a little search for the word vodka. There we go. And we can see, and that's the United States, but so you can search in your own country, you can search worldwide. We'll look at United Kingdom over the past 12 months. Okay, so we've got vodka. And then we search for hangover, and look at that. We've got a correlation between the two. So the more people search for vodka, the more they search for hangover at the same time. And look at we've got little trends in there about different times of the year. So Christmas is always a good peak. And you can actually look over even longer. So that's over 5 years. We see a little trend across the 5 years for vodka and hangover every Christmas. But that's sort of looking back over previous trends. What we really want to do at the moment is look at what's happening right now. So we're in the United Kingdom. We can go even right down to the past hour or the past day or the past week. We've not got any search terms in there to search for at the moment, but if we just put COVID-19 in there as a search term, that's just the past 7 days. We can see a trend already. There's a dip at the weekends. We can also see related terms, related queries. IPAC is very strange. Leicester coming up there. So if you put your industry in, you can very quickly see how things are changing at the moment. So if I put digital marketing, which is what we're talking about today, I can see we have a peak once a week. That's probably a Monday. We have some related search terms, so online quizzes. So if I was a digital marketer, I was looking for sort of help with my digital marketing, I might think, oh right, okay, something that's related to that is online quizzes. They're very popular at the moment. They're rising. So it's telling me these are the terms that are rising at the moment. So actually, that's something that I should really be talking about. HubSpot are very prolific at the moment. Maybe that's something I should be looking at. Maybe, you know, HubSpot provide a free CRM tool that can link into your digital marketing. Event management, search engines. Even, let's, as we were talking to Natalie earlier, vegetables. We can see the trend just over the last week for vegetables, related topics, vegetable panic, assertiveness, very strange terms. And it might be, we want to combine that with events. So we see there was a trend for events a couple of days earlier in the week. What things now are related? Now we've got vegetables and events in there. So yeah, think about the trends. Think about what your clients are looking for at the moment, what's interesting to those at the moment, and really get into the mindset of those customer profiles. So I've clicked on a few too many now, but using partners. So we, where I'm going with this is, you have now understood your customer profiles. You've understood what they're looking for, how they're buying, and where you need to be, what messages you need to get out to them. Now you understand that audience, what you can do is look for partners in the same target audience mindset who deliver different things. So if you're understanding the different interests of your customer base, you can find other businesses that they trust and buy from, and then you can use them to reach that target audience, and you can also partner with them to help them reach the audience you've got who are a similar target audience who might buy from them. So a very simple example might be that you are a wedding planner and you then partner up with venues or hire car companies or florists, wedding dress shops, and you help each other. Now with GDPR, it's not as easy anymore as just sharing a list, but what you can do is get them to mention you in their newsletter or to help promote your posts through social media to their audience. So we partner with a company called Affinity IT, who are an IT support company, and they provide lots of stuff that our clients need, and we provide lots of stuff that they don't, that their clients need. So if they have clients that ask them for a website, they'll pass them to us. If we have clients who we've built a website for, but they're having trouble with their computer and they can't access it, then we'd send them to Affinity for that. So for example, with the Zoom backgrounds at the moment, we've been developing these branded Zoom backgrounds. If people have technical difficulties or struggle with using Zoom and need some help with that to get their background working, particularly with Microsoft Teams, because that's a lot more tricky, we send them over to Affinity. We've got a similar audience base, but we don't cross over. So think about where else might you buy from. Really good example of this is there's some clubs in New York who have partnered with the alcohol brands that they would normally be selling. So Budweiser, Wicked, things like that. And they, I think Jack Daniels are involved as well, and they're doing these virtual club nights, and it's a collaboration between all of the brands that their clients would be experiencing during a typical night at their club. So they can reach out across a larger audience that way by sharing that audience base. We all get lots of newsletters. Definitely build your mailing list. Email is very, very vital to your marketing right now. So build your mailing list, but don't just send newsletters. Yes, do send newsletters, they're great, but don't just send newsletters. So have some campaigns to particular segments of those customer profiles that you've created. Get the lists of new people joining and send them targeted messages. Don't just put them into newsletter lists. Really think about, I want to target this type of customer with this particular product or service, and plan a campaign out to them. Okay. Oliver, Jamie, Michelle's put in the chat, Jamie Oliver promoted this little company. They got sales, he got kudos. The tomato store on the Isle of Wight. So yeah, so they've pivoted. They're doing all sorts of stuff that people want, aren't they? And they've really understood their target market. So I can see, Michelle, that's obviously in relation to Madame Zucchini. But if we think about that partnering thing, Madame Zucchini could get involved with the tomato stall, couldn't she? In the same way Jamie Oliver has, because you're just targeting consumers here. So you've got a very wide audience base. It doesn't have to always be niche all the time. But imagine if we could get the Jamie Oliver newsletter to then put something in there about the collaboration between the tomato stall and Madame Zucchini, because it'd be fun, it'd be engaging for his audience. He'd probably actually get a lot of engagement from that. But how much would all three businesses then benefit from it? So think about those, what stuff you're putting out there to those customers, and build that mailing list based on those customer profiles that you've created. Use your partners to extend out, and when you're using those partners to reach those extra audiences, think about building the mailing list by doing that. Get them to post out to their clients, here's someone we recommend, join their newsletter, share your newsletter link out there. Okay, so that is kind of most of what I was going to talk about in terms of digital marketing. I'm now going to go on to social media as one smaller aspect of digital marketing. So we're really sort of drilling down here. And I'll warn you before I start, there are a lot of bullet points on this slide, so get ready. So firstly, we've talked about being sensitive and being flexible and being careful about what you put out there. And I said create content, but really what we need to do at these times is build trust. We need to publish content that is going to build trust in our brand and make people want to engage with us and see us. So when you're creating stuff to go on your social media, please don't be that business that is just pushing sales. We've got this product, we've got this service, aren't we great? One of the best things that you can put out on social media is social proof. And by that, I mean reviews, testimonials. Can you get customers to do a little video showing them with your product, prove that they like it, you know, that sort of thing. Get that social proof out there. Some of the best campaigns I've seen are where brands are getting their customers to create content for them, and you know, sort of post a picture of yourself with the product or something that you've done with that. KFC did a great TV advert, I don't know if anyone saw it, where they posted all the pictures of people who'd been trying to recreate their own KFC in lockdown because they couldn't buy one. So they've just got all this, and the TV advert was just all these pictures of people's KFCs that they tried to make, and then sort of ended with the, you've done a great job, but we'll take it from here. We're going to open again. And that was great, because it was what they were doing there was providing social proof that people love their brand. they were proving how popular they are with people, and it was real content that we can see as being created by real people and not by a marketing agency. Yeah, so social proof, massively essential. If you do nothing else on social media, share your reviews. The next one is, I keep saying this over and over again, don't I, about the asking about things. Start conversations and ask questions of your audience, but don't just ask them, tell us what you think about our product, tell us what you think about our service. Ask them really specific, pointed questions. Start conversations with them, get them engaging. What we really do wrong a lot with small business is we talk at people and we forget that social media is about social. It's the first word, isn't it? It's social, isn't it? So we want people to engage and talk to us, so start conversations. I used to say this a lot when I first started talking about social media in the early days, when it was a bit alien to businesses. Digital marketing traditionally was a one-way conversation. It's a monologue. So if you think of old-fashioned marketing, a flyer, a direct mail in the post, an advert on the side of a bus or a billboard or a poster, it's all one way. It's some information being given to you. You can't interact with it. You can't give feedback. You can't ask questions. It's all one way. What social media does is makes our marketing two-way. So you hear a lot of people talking about inbound marketing and bringing marketing, bringing the customers into you, but actually it's both. It's two-way. It is a dialogue, not a monologue. So treat it as a dialogue. We've got a couple of comments in the chat, so I'm just going to go to those. So Natalie said, someone suggested I try creating a Facebook group that people would pay for special content. And Daniela said, a Facebook group's great to create content. Facebook is not a good option, this is Armand, for paid special content, maybe a membership website, also you can get payments monthly. So yeah, I would agree with that, Armand. I wouldn't monetize through Facebook, and definitely doing it through your own website is a much better option, just because you don't own Facebook and you have no control over what it might do next. What if, and it's probably a very big sort of pie in the sky idea, but what if the government suddenly banned Facebook because of all its political stuff that's been going on, and all of a sudden it was shut off in the UK and you'd monetized it, and that was your only way of making money was through your Facebook group? So I would say, yeah, put it on your own platform that you have more control over. I hope that helps. So yeah, asking pointed questions. One of the other things that really helps to sort of make social is mentioning. So it's all about all of these connections. If you mention people, your followers, other brands, other business pages, you tag people in photos and things like that, you're much more likely to extend your reach outside of your current audience. So for example, there's a fab company in the centre of Sheffield, just up the road from the Inova offices, called The Great Escape. And they're an escape room company. I don't know if anyone's ever done an escape room. It's quite good fun. If you haven't, I recommend it. But what they do is, when you go through their escape room, and it's normally a sort of social event with a group of friends or a team, they take your photos, they put them on their Facebook, and they encourage you to tag yourself and tag your friends in them. And that way they're reaching all of your audience and all of your friends' audience through those social posts on their business page, and that helps build their followers immensely. And it's also social proof, because people are seeing that their friends have been to this event or to do this activity. So if you can mention your partners, your followers, your raving fans, the ones that like all your Facebook posts, and I know for a lot of small businesses, that's your mom and your family and your friends. It's like that, isn't it? We put lots of posts out, we get 3 or 4 likes on each of them, but they're all our mates, something. So, but utilize them, but also try and get those interactions going with your real fans and followers. Okay. Connect your content with current events, but do it sensitively. So I think one of the mistakes a lot of businesses have made during the coronavirus pandemic is to ignore it, and particularly as well with the Black Lives Matter stuff. A lot of businesses have just ignored that it's happening and just gone quiet on it, and actually that's a bad move too. You need to make yourself, and it's going back to this human thing, and show that you're real. You need to actually engage with your audience by demonstrating that you understand what they're going through at the moment and what might be affecting their buying decisions and things like that as well. So just be very sensitive about what's happening, but don't ignore it. Do connect your content with the current events. Don't pretend that everything's hunky-dory, because we all know it's not, don't we? Promote user-generated content. So when people do, like in the KFC case, when people do create stuff, talk about your brand, or even if it's not about you, if it's just something that one of your customers has done that you think is really, really great, share it. Share your customers' stuff on your business page, and promote that user-generated content. The sort of putting out little quizzes and polls and inviting people for their opinion and things like that is a great way to generate that content from your users. So we've got a client who are a garden centre, and a couple of years ago we did a Christmas tree competition throughout the month of December, where people were sending in pictures of their Christmas trees, and so we had a good sort of maybe 8 weeks in total where we didn't need to do much work on social, because the majority of what was happening was generated by users just creating the images for us, doing those little videos that we could just share. And that's what people want to see, don't they? They don't want to see just loads of marketing messages. They want actual sort of real social proof, and they want to feel involved in a community, because that's what social media is about. I'm sure none of us joined Facebook or Twitter just to be marketed at. That was not our reason for joining, was it? We joined it because it's a social media platform, because we want to be able to put our opinion out there, hear other people's opinions, and engage and interact with a community. So remember that when you're marketing out there. Use hashtags. So you get two sort of parts with this: people who never ever use them and don't think they're worth it at all, and people who overuse them massively. If you want a little guide, if you go to our website zeun.co.uk and have a look on our blog, there is an article about hashtags and their use across different social media platforms. But what a hashtag does is opens you up to a topic audience. So if someone's clicked on a hashtag in another post that's completely unrelated to you, and you know nothing about, but it's about a similar topic, you're likely to then reach that audience too. So don't ignore hashtags, even if you just use 2 or 3, just to connect your content with other similar content in the same topic area. Ask for feedback. I keep saying this, don't I? Ask the questions. Ask your audience what they want. Your customers are the best people to tell you what they want and what they're willing to buy. So use surveys and polls and whatever tools you can across social media to get that information out of your clients. And share their reviews when they give you their feedback and say, yeah, we love this, we're happy with that service, we love that product. Share it, share those reviews, and show that you're grateful to your fans for their interaction. The more gratitude you show for that social media engagement, the more you'll get, because people love to have their backpack patted, don't they? So just share those reviews and show gratitude, and then ask for retweets and shares. There's no shame in putting something out on social media that you're really, really proud of, a bit of content you spent a lot of time and effort over, and to ask people, please retweet this, please share this with your audience. We don't mind doing a quick retweet or share, do we? Okay, so if you take nothing else away from the social media bit, do more. Just get your content out there, be active, don't ignore it, be as available as you can to your customers at the moment. They're all out there needing you. There are people who want what you sell, who want what you do. They're just waiting for you to be able to deliver it to them in the right format that suits what they want at the moment. And I think that can apply to any business. There are opportunities for everybody out there, even if you feel like the world's falling apart at the moment. Do more, get out there, have conversations, and find out what people want that you can deliver. At the moment, digital is massively important. Is that a surprise to anybody? So just one little survey in the middle of April for how people are interacting sales-wise. How are they buying? We've got a 2 times increase in the amount of digital sales happening. So get out there, promote yourself, find out what people want and sell it. Okay, so a little bit at the end, I said we would talk about some cloud tools. Obviously, we mentioned right at the beginning, Zoom being massive importance at the moment. And I think we always used Google Hangouts and Skype, and we've got lots of other platforms, Teams. So when Zoom sort of started really trending, we were like, do we really need to pay for another tool to do this? But actually, for most people, you can use it for free, and that's why it's grown exponentially. But then obviously businesses like ourselves are starting to deliver sessions like this on it. So so these are your options. You've got Zoom, Teams, Skype. Google have brought out a new app called Duo, which is like a little messaging app like Skype that you can use on your phone. They've also got Google Meet, which is what used to be Hangouts, which is now free for anybody. You don't have to pay for the G Suite. So so lots of ways to engage online. But I just wanted to give you a quick little list before we finish of some of the tools that we use and we help our clients use, and we're finding are particularly of value at the moment for communication. So obviously, if you have Office 365, that means you've got Teams already, but also things like OneDrive for sharing files, and you can use OneDrive for sharing files outside of your organization as well. We particularly use Google Suite and Google Drive, and we found that really useful recently for sharing resources across. Obviously, our team are all working from home at the moment, and I can actually say this now. We have now switched to a completely remote team. So we handed the notice in for our office premises just over a month ago, and we moved out last week. Well, earlier this week we handed the keys over. So our team have decided we're more productive working from home, and we're going to do it permanently and just work from a virtual address. And I spoke to another business called the Tech Guys, who do a lot of sort of software strategy training and things like that, and they're doing the same thing. They're moving out of their office too. So these tools are massively essential for us now. Trello is a great little tool. It's just been bought out by Atlassian. You can use it for project management. You can use it for scheduling, and we particularly use it as kind of a brain dump area, really, where we can post little snippets and share things with each other, and we use it to share concepts and ideas with clients as well. Slack, which is basically a bit like WhatsApp, really. It's but you can have lots of different streams of different topics, but it's a great tool for team chat. Again, with Google Suite, there's the Hangout chat function as well, and Google are about to launch, I think, later next month, because it will be in July, so we're not quite July yet. Oh, 1st of July today. So Google are about to launch a new rival to Slack, which I think is only available to people who've got the G Suite system at the moment. If you've got Google for Business, you'll get this new Google Currents, it's called, and that will be launched in the next couple of weeks. So that'll be interesting. Obviously, WhatsApp. One of the things we did when we got rid of the office is we bought all of the team new mobile phones and put them on unlimited contracts, so they've got plenty of data and calls and text. And I've seen massive growth in the activity on WhatsApp from that. So we've created a WhatsApp group with just all of the staff phone numbers on, and it seems to be getting used more than Hangouts at the moment, I think. And I'm seeing a lot more clients interacting with me on WhatsApp, sending me content through it and things like that. It's a great way for me to get videos and photos from them quickly when they're out and about with their phones. So that's one. We've also got obviously Facebook and LinkedIn groups we talked about briefly in the chat there. But there are lots of ways that you can use Facebook and LinkedIn groups to interact with not only your own team, but also your clients and customers as well. So I've seen a lot of groups popping up around the industries that are closed at the moment. So there's groups of sort of hairdressers and beauty salons and bowling alley managers and things like that. So there will be groups around your industry you can get involved with, share ideas and solutions. So in answer to Daniela, no, we don't use WhatsApp Business. We just use the normal WhatsApp to interact with clients. But yes, if you need to keep it separate from your personal, then you can have WhatsApp for Business, and it does give you a little bit more functionality and eliminates the adverts a little bit. And then project management. So what we found is if your team's working from home, you need to be a lot more on the ball with what they're doing. We were already using Zoho for our project management and CRM, but just keeping track of everything so that it's not just in your heads because you're not sat in the same office. One of the things I found was when we were all in the office, if someone had a problem or needed to tell me something, needed me to be aware of something, they could just tell me across the room. But because we're not there, they can't do that. So in order for me to have a good idea of what's happening within the business and how everybody's doing and what issues there are, it really needed to all be put into one system. So we're using Zoho more and more now to monitor all of that. But a couple of others there that I've added in that are really, really good project management tools are Airtable and Monday.com for project management. And then if you want to get really into the automation of everything that you're doing through the cloud, Zapier and IFTTT. And IFTTT stands for if this, then that. And these are tools that let you link tools together. So for example, you can put rules in there with triggers and actions. So you might say, if I add something to my Google Calendar, create a task for me in Zoho. Or if I use a particular hashtag on Twitter, then add a copy of that tweet to my Trello board for that topic. So you're automating simple tasks that you might do normally. So yeah, that's sort of a little tool that lets you automate a little bit more. We've got a couple of questions. I'm going to move to questions anyway now. But Marina's just asked, which is our favourite, Zoho, Airtable or Monday? So I'll say Zoho is our favourite. All of them do similar things. We did a lot of evaluation of project management tools before we switched. We were using Insightly before, but what we were looking for was a combined project management and CRM solution, which is why Zoho was our go-to. If you're just looking for project management, then probably Airtable. Monday is really, really good for team collaboration and time management. So it depends what you're looking for. I'm going to stop screen sharing now so I can see all your faces again. So Armand has asked, doesn't this mean it will be hacked? It's just the nature of things online. So what do you mean will be hacked, Armand? Wait, what? Do you want to just elaborate?
No, sorry, it wasn't a question. It was an answer to the previous question. Can cloud be hacked? Someone asked if, Julie asked if cloud can be hacked. And
it's a cloud can be hacked.
I replied that nothing is 100% secure.
Yeah, nothing is 100% secure. I think the thing with the cloud tools is if you're using a trusted name like Microsoft and Google and things like that, they will have solutions for backing things up so that you don't lose your data and security in place. But it's also about how you protect yourself. So antivirus software, encryption tools, things like that, making sure that you've got your devices locked down and encrypted, and don't use TikTok. Okay. So are there any other questions before we finish? You can feel free to unmute yourself now. We're happy to talk to you directly.
Hi, Jessica. I got a question. Do you use any social media scheduling tools?
We do, yes. We've in the past we've used Buffer.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone's come across Buffer. That's quite a good tool. We recently have just started using a tool that's part of one of our SEO analysis toolkits, which is called SEMrush.
Oh yeah.
Search Engine Marketing Rush. If you have, we have I think the Guru plan on that. If you have the premium plan on SEMrush, there is a really good social media scheduling tool within that. And also Hootsuite is really good for sort of planning stuff across lots of platforms.
Okay. Thank you.
Good old Google Calendar and Excel for sort of planning what we do. Planning the content.
I've been using the Facebook and Instagram, the new one basically that they have, because the analytics is quite good, and it's free. But
yeah,
it was a better one.
Good. Armand, did you have another question? Can you put your hand up?
Yeah, my question will be like, sometimes I have problem with my potential clients. Well, I explain them how my service can benefit to their business, but they don't know the importance of being online. They don't know the basics. How can we approach them?
Yeah, so I think when we're trying to sell something, sometimes we have an idea in our mind of what the client needs, what we think they should have, and they have a very different idea. And it goes back to this understanding that target market and their pain points and what problem they're trying to solve. So it's about getting the message right. So I'm not sure what it is exactly. What is it you're trying to sell in this context, Armand?
Web designing service, digital marketing, and everything related to that.
Oh, right. Okay. So we're in the same game.
No. I mean that I create the problem and I create the solution for them. Just to be clear, what's the problem for them and how can the solution. But I have had problems in the past that they don't know the basic one. Why they should be online. This is, I don't know.
So I think what you've got to do.
Yeah.
There's a really good video that I'd recommend you watch, and it's by Simon Sinek. I don't know if anyone's heard of him. And he basically talks about the golden circle, and when you're marketing your business, don't start with what you do, start with why you do it. So you could be going out to people and saying, you need a website, you need a social media presence, you
Yeah,
need
from
a logo, you know, for the simple stuff. But actually, that's not what's in the client's head. They're not thinking, I need a website. So what's their pain point? Their pain point isn't, I haven't got a very good website, or my website's you know, not pretty, or whatever. Their pain point is they want more clients. They want to do more business. So you need to demonstrate that what you do is going to bring them more clients. So if you said to them, instead of saying to them, your website's rubbish and you need me to build you a new website, say to them, how many clients do you get through your website? How many inquiries, how many leads do you get from your website? And from that number of leads, how many of them actually turn into sales? What's your conversion rate for the traffic that comes into your website? And what if I could double that for you? What if I could times that by 10 for you? What you're selling is not a website. What you're selling is more sales, more leads, more customers. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Can I just add what you mentioned, that I made a big note about it, is really understanding our audience intent, because especially after, you know, with what we are experiencing now, I think intentions have changed a lot, and maybe like you said, just asking about it, what our people are looking for, because we are full of assumptions, especially when it's our business and we're so close to the market. So I really love your thoughts about understanding and reviewing your audience intent.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's something we always go back to with search engine optimization. When people come to us with a list of keywords and say, I want to be on position 1 or page 1 for these keywords. And the first question is why? Why do you think these are the important keywords for your business? What are people looking for when they search for these keywords? Because if you're not actually answering the question they're wanting answering when they search for that, then yes, we can get you on page 1 and you'll get the traffic, but they'll bounce straight off the site as soon as they hit it and realize you're not what they're looking for because you weren't their search intent. So there are people out there looking for you, but it's getting them through the right terms, really, isn't it? And when they're looking for you, not being in their face when they're not. Okay. And any others before I go? Because I'm supposed to be in a board meeting at the moment, but I did tell them I'll be late. Okay, right, I'm going to jump off the call now and make Marina the host so that it doesn't suddenly drop everybody off when I disappear.
Yes, can I thank you so much on behalf of everyone. I mean, I can see there's some claps there, right? We can clap. I think I saw an icon.
You can do a little applause when you.
Maybe you can do an animation that we can all have from Zeun Digital, where it's a proper clap with noise and behind. Because I think it was very impressive. We definitely learned a lot. And look, Madame Zucchini has the shark there going through. And thanking you. It was
very good.
So useful. And for all of you, please stay. Don't go, because we're just gonna share some information for you, and we'll make sure that Jessica.
Bye everybody.
But thank you very much. Thanks, Jess.
You're welcome. Thanks a lot. I've enjoyed it. I hope you've all learned something from it.
A lot.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Thank you. Okay, now we can all start drinking. Let's bring out our drinks. I think that was fantastic. What do you think? And it's so lovely to see so many of you. Emma, so nice to have you around, and Natalie, Madame Zucchini. And I just wanted to finish with you sharing this screen. I hope you can all see it. It is about when we think about entrepreneurship, we just again reflect too much and go like, oh, that's a really good idea what Jessica did. And the big difference is about acting. What are we going to do about it? So I would really invite you to, after today's seminar, there was so much information, you take some time out, away from your computer and maybe outdoors, just to make a list of things that are achievable and that you can do following Jessica's presentation, to make your business not survive, but to thrive. I think there was a very good point of Jessica was saying that there are things that people are looking at in a different way, that it's this digital marketing, me taking Zumba lessons online, who would have said that? So very important that you reflect about how you can thrive. We have a